I lost everything in my first business. 5 lessons I'll never forget. When I was 23 years old, I was convinced I had it all figured out. While my friends were chasing corporate careers, I decided to chase my dream, starting my own business. I imagined myself as a young entrepreneur sipping coffee in my own cafe, watching customers line up for my pastries, and counting cash at the end of each day. The reality? 6 months later, I was broke, burned out, and buried in debt. This is the story of how I lost everything in my first business, and the 5 lessons that completely changed the way I see money, success, and life itself. The dream. I've always been passionate about coffee. Growing up, I spent countless hours in coffee shops, sketching out ideas in notebooks and imagining one day owning my own place. When I finally saved up a decent amount from my first job, I decided it was time. No business plan, no market research, no financial cushion, just excitement, blind confidence, and a head full of dreams. I rented a small space in a busy street, borrowed money from a relative for renovations, and opened my cafe with a big smile on my face. For a few weeks, it felt like I was living the dream. Friends came to support me, neighbors dropped by, and my Instagram was full of latte art photos. But reality came fast and hard. The first problem was expenses. Rent was higher than I anticipated. Electricity bills were brutal. I hired 2 staff members because I thought I needed them, but salaries quickly ate into my income. Then came competition. There were at least 3 established coffee shops nearby with stronger branding, bigger budgets, and loyal customers. My little cafe struggled to stand out. By month 3, the excitement was gone. Customers trickled in, but never enough to cover costs. I tried promotions, discounts, even free drinks just to attract people. Nothing worked. Every night, I sat in my empty cafe, staring at unpaid bills and wondering where I went wrong. By month 6, I was out of savings, deep in debt and emotionally drained. Closing the cafe felt like ripping my heart out, but it was the only choice left. The rock bottom. Losing my business was more than just losing money. It felt like losing my identity. For months, I carried shame and regret. I avoided talking to friends because I didn't want to admit I had failed. But in my lowest point, something shifted. I realized failure wasn't the end. It was feedback. If I wanted to rise again, I had to learn from it. And that's where the 5 lessons I'll never forget came from. 5 lessons I'll never forget. 1. Passion isn't enough. You need a plan. I thought loving coffee was enough to run a cafe. But passion without planning is a recipe for disaster. I had no market research, no pricing strategy, and no understanding of my competition. Lesson: before starting anything, research your market, understand your audience, and create a realistic business plan. Passion fuels the fire, but planning builds the foundation. 2. Cash flow is more important than profit. I made sales every day, but my expenses were higher than my income. I focused on how much money came in without tracking how much went out. Lesson: in business, survival depends on cash flow, not just sales. Always monitor your expenses and make sure your daily operations generate enough to keep the lights on. 3. Start small, grow slowly. I wanted my cafe to look perfect from day one. I spent too much on decor, equipment, and staff I didn't actually need. That decision killed my financial flexibility. Lesson: start small.
test the waters and grow as demand increases. It's better to grow slowly than to collapse quickly. 4. Failure isn't the end, it's a teacher. For months I saw my closed cafe as proof I wasn't good enough. But in reality, it was the best business school I could have attended. The experience taught me more about entrepreneurship than any book or seminar ever could have. Lesson: don't be afraid of failure. Every mistake is a lesson in disguise, and every setback is an opportunity to grow. 5. Protect your mental and emotional health. Running a failing business took a heavy toll on my confidence and self-worth. I worked long hours, ignored my health, and carried shame like a backpack full of stones. Lesson: no business is worth your sanity. Rest, seek support, and remember, your worth as a person is not defined by your financial success. The comeback. It's been years since I closed that cafe, and while the sting of failure never fully disappears, I can honestly say I'm grateful for it. Losing my first business forced me to grow up, to learn discipline, and to approach new ventures with wisdom instead of arrogance. Today, I'm building again, but this time with a plan. I do research before investing. I track every peso. I start small, test ideas, and scale only when I'm ready. Most importantly, I take care of myself along the way. Final thoughts. Failure isn't something to fear. It's something to embrace. My first business nearly broke me, but it also built me into the person I am today. If you're reading this and struggling with your own venture, remember, you are not alone. Every successful entrepreneur has failed at some point. What matters is not how many times you fall, but how many times you rise. So yes, I lost everything in my first business. But what I gained, the lessons, the resilience, the growth, is priceless. And I'll carry those lessons with me forever.